Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is YAHMAD. So in this video we're going to be looking at paper 2 from the CIE ICT IGCSE course, and we are going to be doing data manipulation. So paper 2 is a practical paper which is 2 hours and 30 minutes long. If you check out the previous video, I've completed document production, and now we are going to be doing data manipulation, which is databases. So this is a May-June 2021 paper. Okay, so let's scroll down so you can see I've already made a start on this paper. And we're going to start on page 6 for task 3, which is databases. And I've got the evidence document already set up from the previous task, and we will continue with this evidence document as well as certain points in this video. Okay, so task 3, database. You are now going to prepare some reports. Dates are to be imported in a format of day, month and year. So using a suitable database package, so let's first of all create a new database file. So right click, new Microsoft Access Database, and I'm just going to call this 2021. It doesn't matter what name you give your file. If you want, you can open up Access and then go to in a normal way. It's your choice. Right, so once you've created your file, click on Enable Content. The first step that we need to do is to import this file here, so j2121athlete.csv. Okay, so let's import this file in. So is it in our source folder? Yep, it's this one here. If you want to have a look at this CSV file before we import, you can do, just to get familiar with the fields and the data types. Okay, so you got last name, first name, athlete ID, so this probably will be the primary key, nationality, year of born, I'm guessing, and gender. So let's close this down, don't save any changes. And athlete ID will be a number, year of born will be a number as well. And this athlete ID will be set to the primary key as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and import. So you go to external data, new data source, from file, text file, or depending on your software you may click on external data and then text file appears somewhere. Okay, so let me go to my source folder. And this is the file that we want to import for now. Press OK. Next. First row contains field names. Go to Advanced. Check to see if the data is in the correct format. So it should be day, month and year. So yep, day, month and year. And athlete ID and year of born will be integers or numeric values, so we can keep that as it is. Press OK. The primary key is going to be the athlete ID field, which is unique to each record and to each athlete. Next, finish. Okay. Okay, so we've done that one. I think that was fairly straightforward, nothing complicated there. So you can have a look at this table here. So these values are numeric, integer, and the rest of it's text. Okay. Right, so let's import the second file called j2121events.csv as a new table. Okay. This time we are going to have a Boolean field which needs to be displayed as yes and no. So it's important we set this whilst we are importing the CSV file, and we will have a date and time field. But let's go ahead and find the file first. So external data, new data source, from file, text file, browse, and this time the file is called events.csv. This one here. Press OK. Next. When you get to this point, tick the option first row contains field names. Okay, and then advanced. Check the date is in the right format. Okay. The first thing we're going to check for is the date. Is it in the right format or is it in the data format? Yes, it is. Okay. The swim, bike, run, water temp, air temp, I'm going to leave as it is. So some are set to doubles, which are like decimal numbers. So I'm going to leave these as they are. The one thing I need to change is the wetsuit is a boolean, so it should be displayed as yes and no. So we need to change this to yes and no. And the last two fields are text. Yep, so we don't need to change anything there. Press OK. Next, next. And do we have a primary key, which is going to be unique? So it's going to be the event ID, which is the first field. So we can choose that. So you can see each ID will be unique to each event. Next, finish, close. So what we need to do to the events is we need to change this to appear as yes and no. Everything else can stay the same. So we go to design view, click on yes and no, change the format to yes and no, and then the lookup, not a checkbox, it's going to be shown as text. Go back to view, and yes, that's changed. Okay, and we have one more table to import, and this is going to be results. Okay, do we have any more fields or booleans? No, we don't. So swim, T1, bike, T2, run, and total time will be displayed in the date and time format. And let's close this down. So again, import the same way we've imported the previous two files. Browse, and this time it's the results table that we need to import. Next, first row contains field names. Yeah, you can see the formats are already correct. So go to advanced. Let me double check. So text, number, number. Oops. Yeah, date and time. Just go back to the paper. Text, number, date and time. So is the last one date and time? Yes, it is. So there's nothing to change actually at that point. Is there a primary key? Do not set a primary key, so we can just select this option here, no primary key. Next, and finish. Close. You can have a look, and yeah, you can see it's in the right format. Everything is great. So it should be hours, minutes, and seconds. So you can see 1 hour, 3 minutes, 2 seconds. Yeah, that's fine, no problem. Nothing to change there. Okay, save the data. So let me go ahead and save what. Yeah, I think I've already clicked. And in your evidence document, screenshots showing the primary keys and field names and data types used in all three tables. Okay, so let's go for the first table. Okay, so here's the primary key, here's the data types. So that was from the previous snip. So that's the first table. Let me copy this into evidence 4. Okay, so let's go to evidence 4. That's the first print screen, nice and clear. If you want, you can resize it to make it a bit bigger. It's not really necessary. Let's have a look at the second table. Second table, we have a primary key as well. If I just click on here, show that this has been changed. Okay, copy, done, and the last one is results, and you can see all of the date and time fields. Okay, we could just take a print screen. So make sure you do include a field name as well, or the table name here as well. Right, copy. Okay, done, and we've actually fit them all onto one page, which is great. Save your evidence document, and we can continue. Okay, so 5 marks there, guys, for the evidence. So make sure you are taking your time to do the evidence. Okay, now is the time to create the relationships. So let me close down all of these tables here. go to database tools, relationships, and we need to add all three tables. So double click. Okay, so we've got the athletes table. I'm just going to move the tables into the right order. I may need to move them again, but we'll have a look. Okay, so we have two primary keys which may be used in the relationships. This table doesn't have a primary key, which is fine. So the first link that we need to create is the athlete ID field in the athletes table, and then the athlete ID in the results table. So let's place this results table in the middle. There's going to be this primary key linking with this field here. You can click on create. So there's your first relationship. And the second relationship is the event ID in the events table. Okay, and it's going to be linked to the event ID in the results table. So this one here at the top. So we can connect these two together. Click on create. There we go. Okay, so normally we have to show evidence. Okay. Okay, so what this basically means is a one-to-many relationship. Okay, so yeah, one-to-many. One athlete may have many, if we go back to here, may have many results which will be linked to their ID. Okay. Right, so let's take the first print screen, and then we'll take a few more print screens as well. So that shows the relationships initially. So is the evidence 5? Yes, it is. So this is a very typical print screen which we normally do every time. Then we can click on this line here. We could take evidence of this little window to show the link between the two athlete ID fields in the two different tables. Okay, that's okay, and whoops, double click on this line here to show the second type of relationship. Okay. And you can see it's a one-to-many relationship as well. Okay, job done. Copy. So it's really important, guys, you do spend the time to get the evidence done right. You check to see what you've done. So we've got the relationships, we've got the types of relationship. So this shows as one-to-many between the two different fields. And we've also taken our screenshots of each table and data types as well. Okay, so let me save what we've done here. And if I press OK and click on close, save the changes. So one athlete can have many results. Okay, so this is a one-to-many. If we click on events, and one event can have many results as well. Okay, and obviously the results are not linked, or it's not one-to-many, is it? Okay, that's done. Done. Okay, so what we need to do now is to add a new record. I'm just checking to see if we need to make a form. I don't think we have to in this database question now. So sometimes when you add a new record, it may ask you to create a form, but in this case we're just going to add a new athlete. Okay, so what we can do is we can go open up the athletes table. We can go to the very bottom. Okay, and we can copy in the details. Obviously, if you are typing, make sure you're not making any spelling mistakes. You enter the text shown exactly as it's written in the exam paper. So Sophia Lee. Here's a primary key. Oops, oh no, it's not the primary key, it's the nationality. This was the primary key here. Okay. 1982 and then female. So check for errors. Since I've copied and pasted, there should be no errors. And is there any linked results? Yeah, so we got some results for Sophia Lee as well. Save the changes. Okay, done. So now we need to change something in the results table. So we can close down this table here. So let's go to results. What do we need to do? Locate the record with the athlete ID 15318. So what we can do is we can click here, number filters, let's go across again, equals, so we want to equal to this athlete ID, and the second thing we need to do is equal to this event ID, so MX52, actually can we see it here? Yes, this one here. Is it 1085? Yeah. So amend the details as follows. So the swim time is going to be this now. So 1938. So 001938. Okay. T1 is going to be just 36 seconds. Only if I just, 36, and all this will be 0. Okay, done. And position is 1. Done. So let me double check. So swim should have been 19 minutes and 38 seconds. Okay. T1 is 36 seconds and position is 1. So let's save the changes. We can just clear the filter and close this down. Save the changes. Yeah, we want to save. All done. Okay, we're now going to be looking at question 19. So in question 19 is a typical database question where we have to create a report. So let's read the question. So using fields from all tables, produce a tabular report that. And then we have a number of bullet points. So you may have noticed I've coloured in these bullet points in different colours. So yellow and green. So yellow basically means it's the query task. So this comes before the report. And the report is how the data is going to be presented. So typically in a query task we need to select the fields which will be used or shown in the report. We can also enter search criteria which will filter the results. Okay. So, and also when I create my queries and reports I like to use the same name. So the same name that's going to appear at the top of the report will also have the same name for the query. So let's go ahead and start. So to create a query, we click on Create Query Wizard. Okay, and then we need to select fields from all tables. So first name, last name, year of born, which is probably from the athletes. Yep, so it's first name, last name. So first name, last name, year of born. We need to show the fields in this order as well. Nationality, location. So I think location is under events. Outcome and position. So maybe that's under results. Outcome and position. Next, next. And when you get to this point here, always include the title that will appear at the top of your report for your query name as well. Okay, so Click on finish. Make sure you're not making spelling mistakes, especially for the title when it appears at the top of your report. Right, the first thing to check for is to check to see how many records we are starting with. So we're starting with 822 records. So the next thing we need to do is now to search or filter the results. So the location is going to include the text ham. So this is the location. So ham could be at the end, as you can see here. It may be at the start, or it may be in the middle somewhere here, for example. Okay, so to find anything that contains ham, what we do is we write star ham under location. Obviously make sure you're under the right field, and star again. So by doing this, and then if you click anywhere else, this will find anything that contains ham. Okay, and then if you click here, you can see we got this location, this location, this location. So we're now down to 320 records. Okay, that's the first one done. Right, the nationality is either going to be this or New Zealand. So Australia or New Zealand. Obviously, we refer to the codes. So when you're searching for multiple pieces of information, you can include or. Okay, so we're basically looking for two different types of nationality. Run, we can double check. Yep, it's just going to be these two. And we're now down to 38 records. And the outcome is going to be complete. So that's a single word which we're going to be searching for on this field here. Click on run, and we're now down to 30 records. So outcome is complete. Nationality is Australia or New Zealand, or AUS and NZL. And the location includes ham at some point in the location, either at the start, at the end, or in the middle. So guys, this is a query task, and what we've done so far is we've filtered. We started off by selecting the fields. We saved the query name, the same name that's going to appear at the top of the report, so Oceania results. And then we've entered the search criteria, okay, which is shown here. Okay, sometimes they may ask you to evidence the search criteria, not in this question here. Okay, done. So now I think we're ready to move on to the report part of this question. It says here, do not group the data. So this is something we're going to look at now. Okay, so if you click on run, you can see the records appear one row at a time. So to group, this is what grouping means. So if you go to create a report wizard, save the changes, select all the fields, you can see some of these records will be grouped by first name, last name, so by the athlete. Okay, so let me show you what happens. Let's get to the end. So you can see grouping, so random, and these must be all of the different locations and the outcomes for his events here. So what we don't want is to group the data. So if that happens, you can close the report, you can delete the report, and we can do it again. So create report wizard, select the query again, select the second table, and now you can see all of the fields are separate. All of the fields are now together, they're not separated. Okay, so all of the fields are now together. Next, and what we have now is two sorts, so ascending on both fields, nationality, and ascending again on position. So nationality and then position, both ascending. So remember guys, when you do a sort, it's going to change the order, and we need to go back to this order in a minute, okay? Next, is it portrait? Is it landscape? It's portrait. Yep, keep that. And we have to enter the title again. So again guys, make sure you take care in entering this title. Make sure you include capital letters when shown. You're not making any spelling mistakes. And finish. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do now is put the fields back in the right order. So once we do the sort, it messes up the order. So what I'm going to do first of all is move some of these fields across. So you select a title and then the records by pressing Control down on your keyboard. Oops, let me just do that again. So we need to make sure everything fits on one page as well. Is it one page across? Let me read the next bullet point. Fits on a single page. So let's check the order. So first name, last name. So obviously you can see now, guys, the data hasn't been grouped. So that was the first name. Okay. This is the last name. Okay, I'm making sure I'm not cutting off any data. Okay, so after first name and last name, we have the nationality. So what we can do is move these ones across. Just move this across slightly. Got more space now. And then after nationality, it's year. Oh, sorry, after last name, it was year of born, then nationality. So guys, just make sure you are paying attention to the question. I almost made a mistake there. And it's very easy, guys. If you have watched any of my previous videos, sometimes I have made mistakes because I'm rushing and I'm not taking the time to read the questions. Okay, so first name, last name, year of born, nationality, location, outcome, and then positions at the end. And I think we are done for this part nearly. So remember, guys, what I'm doing is I'm selecting the field header and then I'm pressing down on Control on my keyboard and then selecting this as well, so you can move them both at the same time. Okay, so we have done that part. So let me check now the fields in the right order. So first name, last name, year born. First, what am I doing? First name, last name, year born, nationality, location, outcome and position. Okay, done. Right, the next few things that we need to do, in a minute I'll check if it fits on a single page. Okay, the text appears as a title. Let me double check. Yes, this appears as a title because we inserted it as we were creating a report wizard. Your name, center number, candidate number on the report. So what I'm going to do now is go to print preview before I enter my details. Let me just zoom out. Yep, all of the information fits on one page. So if they're asking you to insert your name and they're not being specific, you can just put it at the top here. Okay, so let's go to design view, report design, and then you can click on the label and you can write your name at the top somewhere. So that's my name, and then are they asking for the center number? So center number I'll use 5678, and then for candidate number 1234. Again, print preview. Before you send this to print, guys, check the fields are in the right order. Your name appears on your work. The data is shown in full, it's not cut off, and it fits to one page wide, and it's also portrait. Okay, so we are now done with this question. Okay, we can close and save the changes, and then we can go to the next question. If you do receive your printout in the exam paper and you have spotted a mistake, you can always print again. Okay, so we're now going to be looking at question 20. So using the fields from all tables, produce a tabular report that. And again, this is a question where we have to create a query first and then a report second. So if you look at the previous task, guys, this was the query where we selected the fields, we entered some search criteria, and then this was the report basically presenting this piece of information. With the next question is going to be slightly trickier because there's a couple of more things that we need to do. I think the main thing is we need to create a new field, which is going to be a calculation, and then we need to format that field. But I think the rest of it should be similar. So I've identified again the tasks which will be done in the query. So selecting the fields, entering the search criteria, creating the new record, and also the name that's going to appear at the top of the report. The rest of the bullet points are shaded in green, which basically represents a task to be done in the report. Okay, so let's start by creating a new query. So query wizard, and make sure we're selecting fields from the tables. So what we want is first name, last name, location. And if you go to, I think, events, location, swim, T1, and bike. And that's results. So swim, T1, and then bike. And then T2 run. Wetsuit, and then total transition, but that's going to be the field that we will be creating. So we're looking for wetsuit now. I think, is that under athlete? No. Is it under results? Events? Yeah, here we go. So we've got all of the fields. And again, when you get to this point here, include a title that will be appearing at the top of your report. So top female triathletes. Make sure you're not making any spelling mistakes when you are entering the titles. So we have 822 records again to start off with. What we need to do now is to enter the search criteria. So this we may come back to when we're in a report to put the fields back in the right order, and also to ensure the data has not been grouped. Okay, so this is something we will come back to in the report. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure the gender is female, and we do this in the query. So do we have gender here? No. So what we may have to do is we may need to add another field. Okay, so we've added gender, and in gender you will see male and female. So what we want is to show female. Whoops, make sure you spell it right. And then click on run. These are all of the female athletes. Okay, 382 records. Obviously some are repeated, which are fine. Okay, now the position is more than 0 and less than 5. Okay, so let me try a few different things here. So position, do we have position here? Nope. This field we can hide because we don't need to show the gender. We just need to make sure it's female. And what we're going to do is, let me include position. And I'm going to try something first. So I'm not sure if this is going to work, but let's give it a go. So more than 0 and less than 5. Let's try this first. So between, so more than 0, so 1, and less than 5. Is it less than 5? And 5 and less. So 1 to 5. Okay, so let's see if this works. So if I type in between 1 and 5 and click on run, make sure you spell between properly. Okay, I'm going to try and type that again. So let's get rid of all that and go to run. Between 1 and 5. And what I'm going to do is click down here, and so it's more than 0. Yeah. and 5 or less. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that's worked. And we're down to 39 records. Okay, so that's done. We don't need to show that field. So that's the search criteria done. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to make a new field called total transition. So we can create the new field here. Okay, let's write the name of the new field, colon. What do we need to do? So, which is calculated at runtime to add the contents of T1 and T2. So T1 and T2 are both fields. So we basically put the fields into these square brackets. So T1 plus T2. So I'm guessing these will be 2 times which we are adding together. Close the bracket. Let's click on run. Okay, so I'm assuming now T1 stands for transition, so we got 33 seconds here, 22 seconds, and it's 55 seconds in total, and the formatting is already complete, so that's fine, we don't need to worry about the formatting. So that's that done. So we've done finished with the query task again. I think fairly straightforward, apart from this may have been a little bit tricky. Okay, so now what we need to do is go ahead and make the reports. So save the changes here. We're down to 39 records. We searched by these 2 fields and we've added a new field here. So let's go to create report wizard. Select all of the fields including total transition. We don't want to group as we saw in the last question, so we can skip, or we can just click on the next table, and the fields here you can see they were separated. So you had some fields here, some fields here. By clicking on the second table, all the fields are together. Next. Right, data sorts the data into descending order of position. So let me change now my highlighter pen into green for report. So position is going to be descending. Are we showing? Okay, and I forgot. I have to show the position. I must have missed that. So let me cancel that, and let me go back to design view. I'm not sure how I didn't see that. It's okay. Okay, at least I've seen it now. Okay, so make sure you have selected all of the fields. Okay, create report wizard. Save the changes. I've got position now. We don't want to group. And position is going to be descending. And okay, the page is going to be landscape. Let me put this title back in. Okay, again, make sure there's no spelling mistakes with the title. Okay, what we're going to do now is put the fields back in right order. So since we've done the sort on position, it's showing up as the first field. So now we need to move position back into the last position. So what we can do is click on close, go to layout view, and I'm just going to move this across here for now. Okay, first name. Oops. Let's move this across here. Last name. Let's move that across there. Just go down and double check to see if all of the data is shown in full. Yes, it looks like it is. And the longest name here, it looks like this one here. So make sure that name is shown in full. So location. And I think all of these are before the position. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing down control and I'm selecting these fields here by clicking on them. Just going to move these across like this. position. Let's move that towards the end. Okay, total transition. I think how I missed position, I think I saw total transition and then saw that it was a new field, and typically it is the last field we are showing, but in this case we are including position, so I think that's how I missed that one out initially. Okay, let's just keep going. Nearly done, just a couple more fields to go. And okay, right, let me just move this across like this. Okay, make sure the time is shown in full. Okay, sorry guys, it's taken longer than I expected. I'm just making sure all of this information is shown in full. I don't know why. Let me just go to home, design view. It's that overlapping, isn't it? That's why it's not shown in full. So let me just fix the overlaps. Okay, go back to layout view. Right, and let's just move this across a little bit. Just going to use my left key on my keyboard just to move them across. This one. Okay, that's a bit better now. Move that across, and I'm hoping this is the last one we have to fix. There we go. So guys, if you want, you can just skip ahead this part. It did take me a while to get that all sorted, but obviously what I don't want is to make any mistakes at this point. Let's do, okay, everything is shown is full. Okay, good. So fits one page wide. Okay, so what that means, guys, is if you go to home, print preview. Let me just zoom out slightly. So we have 2 pages tall, but the question it's asking is, are all of the fields fitting 1 page wide? So let me double check now. Is everything shown in full? Yes. So we got 2 pages tall, but the question was saying, does it fit 1 page going across all of the fields? And in this case, yes, it is. Okay, done. This is at the top. Let me double check. Yeah, here it is. Calculates the number of database records shown in this report and places at the end of the report, formatted as an integer. So we have to basically count. So we can do that by going into layout view. You can count any record. I'm just going to count the last name. Then if you go to totals, count records, there should be a number at the bottom, which is 39. Okay, already an integer, so there's no need to edit that. Okay, has a label, number of competitors to the left of this value. So we can go to design view and we can go to labels and we can include a label. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just move this to the left or to the right of this. So the label has to be to the left of the number. So if we go to print preview on the second page at the end of the report, you can see the label and then a number, which is fine. And then displays only your name, center number and candidate number in the footer, so it appears in the same position on every page. Make sure no other data is displayed in the footer. So I think we need to get rid of the date and the page number as well. So I'm just going to delete that. So since your name has to be on every page, is it in the footer? Yeah. We go to page footer. If it was in a page header, what you'd have to do is move this down and insert a label in a space for page header, but we can do it here. Oops, let me try that again. So here's my name, center number 5678, candidate number 1234. Let's check again. Print preview. Yep, so here's my name on the first page and here's my name on the second page, and there's nothing else in the footer. Right guys, I think we have now come to the end of the database section. Let me double check to see if there's anything else. In your evidence document, show a screenshot showing, or place in your evidence document a screenshot showing the database formula used to calculate the total number of competitors. Okay, so it's basically this formula here. So what we can do is we can just take a picture like, or a snip like this, copy, and this is evidence 6. Paste it in, and we can make it bigger like this. Okay, done. We highlight that, and we've come to the end of the database section. So let me just double check to see if there's nothing else left to do. No. So guys, this was the database section. It's probably the hardest part of paper 2. With any typical database question, you'd have to create, or you'd have to import some tables, set the data types, make a relationship, and then there's normally query and report task questions. So you can see here, let me just close this down. We've got 2 queries, and the reason I like to name the queries and the reports the same is because I know this query is for this report, and then this query is for this report. So in the queries, we select the fields, we filter the data, and then in the report, it's basically how the data is presented. Right guys, please drop your comments below. Good luck in your exams, and thank you for watching the videos. Hopefully they have been useful to you guys. Right, take care, all the best, bye bye.